Before the war, the Enclave was a cabal of powerful individuals from across the United States, including presidents, members of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, prize-winning scientists, members of the military, influential politicians, wealthy industrialists, and other powerful men and women who together formed the group. In the opinion of its members, it was the greatest assembly of minds on American soil. To the outside, particularly in later centuries, it wasn't the United States, but the rich and powerful, unwilling to give up their power. The Enclave was involved in many of the deepest conspiracies and secrets of the federal government, such as covering up the existence of extraterrestrial life, mainly to the ends of studying alien technology for their own use. When the organization Quaera Verum tried to expose this conspiracy, stealing an alien tech-based prototype weapon, they were swiftly hunted down and killed. As the resource wars dragged on and the risk of nuclear war increased, members of the Enclave invested into various contingency measures to survive the coming war. Funded by corporate and government money, these installations would enable the Enclave to continue waging war even after the United States ceased to exist. One such installation was the presidential oil rig out in the Pacific Ocean, owned by Poseidon Oil, with the White Spring Congressional Bunker acting as a hub for future Enclave operations, covertly funded by funds embezzled from the Department of Agriculture by its secretary, Thomas Eckhart. Other facilities prepared in advance were Raven Rock and the Kovach Muldoon. The Enclave used Project Safe House and Vault-Tech's network of underground shelters for a grand social experiment to test the occupants in unique circumstances. Vault monitoring and research were conducted under the Vault Behavioral Project. In order to monitor the populations being experimented upon, the Enclave's oil rig possessed a great deal of equipment that allowed them to observe and control the vaults. For example, the Enclave sent the all-clear signal to Vault 8 shortly after the war, prompting them to leave their vault and build their city. These monitoring tools also let the Enclave see that the population of Vault 13 was largely intact, although this wouldn't become important until much later. The original idea behind the Vault experiments was to gather data to enable the creation of a multi-generational starship to settle another planet, as the Enclave assumed Earth would be rendered uninhabitable by nuclear war and human civilization would need to expand into the stars to survive. In March 2077, with the world heading directly for nuclear confrontation, the President of the United States and other members of the Enclave retreated to various fortified areas around the globe. Others remained behind, only retreating to fortified shelters as the nuclear war became imminent. As the shadow government poised to take over the U.S. government should the worst occur. By late 2077, the existence of the Enclave was potentially known to the public, but only vaguely at best, mostly the subject of long-standing rumors, but covered in at least one newspaper in Boston in the last week before the war. Although news outlets across the nation picked up the subject of the missing president, discussing the rumors of peace negotiations with China and the president's absence, the Enclave was already heading to the ground. However, this did not stop individuals from attempting to uncover its existence, both from within and without the government. As the only way to join the Enclave was to be invited by them, a large majority of the government was unaware of its existence beyond rumors and irregularities in the budget. The United States military refused to allow the Enclave access to some of its systems. Furthermore, the powers that be in the government largely opposed the notion of a nuclear first strike against China that some members of the Enclave promoted. To be continued.